hand. I'll take you higher than you've ever been. You've ever been.
Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go into the charts. So on the Coinbase chart, we have already hit the point of control for this local range and the golden pocket region of the 0.65, 0.66. Are we going to see a sustainable bounce, or is this a lower probability fake out trap of liquidity to come lower and deeper into the larger retrace into this idea here at 28K and this point of control of the previous 60-day range? Let's go ahead and look at this rejection of the 0.5 equilibrium pitch fan to the upside as we make our way down to the 28.6 possibility of bouncing off of this support structure as well. Let's see how the liquidity agrees or disagrees with the theory as we go into high block. Now, what is high block? Well, people lock their liquidity into the charts to get burnt to a crisp by the market maker for not using a stop loss. So we get to see where those crispy characters lie in wait or get burnt to a crisp already. And as it seems, we are getting some shorts opening up here in a furious way. We are getting $145 million of 100 extras opening up into support, which is not a good look for the shorts. So we could see this sustainable bounce to grab these 100 extras at 29,447. Not looking too great for the idea of shorting at this time. You do not like to short into support ideas, you wanted to short up here, not as you break down here, ideally speaking. Now, there is $153 million down at 29.2, which we updated during the Asian session, as well as the $151 million down at 29.07. So they could muster the strength to come down to this, hoping that no more shorts open, or they could come up and grab these 100xers and use that liquidity to come down to here. They could immediately come down to this. As it stands, our analysis of seeing this come down to this idea was what we were looking to see as a downward bounce was inbound. They've been pinging the liquidity every time they bounced here, and they took out 101 million in longs, boom, and then they pinged the shorts in, took out the 83 million in shorts, and now they are heading down into those 100xers that they took out. They took out the 100xers that they pinged in with that rise up earlier with the fake out to the upside. Let's zoom in to show you that in more detail. So during the Asian session, they went sideways essentially, and then pinged in this 83 million at 29.558. They went up to that guy to a T and reversed at that liquidity that they released after pinging in 61 million and 17 million in 100x longs, and they came back to those longs, jumped off of them, gapped down into this pool down below, pinged in these 145 million in shorts, and they could be easily just coming back to grab this before going lower. Let's go ahead and shift our attention and expand our vision to the upside here on the 7-day plus time frame. So as we look at the 7-day time frame here, you're seeing that they gobbled up this $3 billion of imbalance that we saw. The 7-day imbalance was real, which is why we were calling for that Fibonacci retracement bounce potential, and coming down to the 29.250 region, and they bounced off that liquidity. Do they go lower? We have some imbalance still existing to the 28.6 region on the 7-day time frame. There's still that imbalance to long liquidity, as all the YouTubers call for moon bounce ideas and induce their audience into long plays. Are they going to be right, or are they going to be liquidity for the market makers to grab? If we look at the 28.4 and the 28K region, we do have that $40-50 billion lurking down in that 28K region on the external liquidity range of the monthly time frame. You would have to come all the way up to 30,500 to grab double digits on the monthly time frame. So do we insinuate that we go lower? You got liquidity in the single digits on the way down, most notably at 29K, 5.7 billion on the monthly time frame. Pretty ambiguous, even Steven, although you do have more yellow regions up here above 32K. Does this justify a move to the upside? Let's look at the 3-month, shall we? The 3-month does have that low sub 25K liquidity range, which we've been talking about for ages now, it seems, and also on the 6-month. We're not going to go over that value to you. We did talk about it earlier in the Asian session. So there is that clear imbalance to the downside on the 3-month and the 6-month and the external liquidity range. As we start to shift our attention and expand our vision to the 2-year, you do see that 600 billion up in the 33.2 region. So we could come up to that at some point. Do we spawn some divergence off the liquidity down below? It would make more sense to me to go grab some of these liquidity pools down below. If you go hop, skip, and a jump, you do see 81 billion at that 27.6. Let's go see if those coincide with the charts. So you do have the 27.668 region down at the 706 of this golden pocket. However, if you do not hold this point of control at 28K, most likely you are going lower and recovering this entire vector perhaps. You do have smaller points of control at this region here at 27.4. You have another one at 27 even that you could potentially bounce off of here as well at 27.6. So those are the liquidity zones. I think that is a fair value gap here. So those are some different regions that most likely, if you break this pocket, if we go lower, then we're going to recover the entire pool, because we're a hop, skip, and a jump from those pools down below sub 25k. There's 241 billion at 24.4. Let's zoom into the charts and take a look at what we see on the Coinbase, the Binance chart, as we switch to the monthly. Shout out to everyone here. All right, so if we look at the 15-minute time frame, we are seeing that we are currently getting a bounce off the 618 golden pocket region, coming up to that liquidity pool up in the 29,447 region. Is this a sustainable bounce? Did that short pool that opened up into the golden pocket, are they going to get squeezed? We talked about this potential drop to the golden pocket and seeing a reaction off the golden pocket. If you took that golden pocket bounce, you would already be up in your idea by a near 0.5%, which with whatever leverage could be amplified with that London close. So we're watching for this 5 minutes candle to close. The 6-hour candle closes soon. How does this 6-hour candle close within the framework of this cross down event on our indicators? Let's go ahead and throw on our indicators now. Boom. 𝗦𝗲𝗿𝗂𝗋𝗀𝗋.info, link in the description for more. Scroll down to features, toggle at your leisure, or look at each component as we go over them. All right, so as we're seeing, there's this trend cloud on the 6-hour time frame that is seemingly strong in terms of the thickness of the volume that has been inserted with this vector candle here. You are getting a pink stop hunt rise and red vector sharply reversing at that key daily resistance level. So is this going to continue to see upside? Is this a continuation pattern or a reversal pattern? That is the question. So we see this 618 off this impulse to the upside. Are we going to see the reaction? This is where you would normally see it. Looking at the cloud, if you would see a reaction to the upside, this would be where you would be patiently waiting for that long idea. The things against the trade are these cross down events on the 8-hour and the 6-hour. What do I mean by that? Well, these are the baselines. Generally, you want the baselines beneath the price as you're retracing in this manner, and that's where you see the true upside in normal reversal rise, retrace, continuation patterns. As it stands right now, we are seeing the baselines above the price, which is the ambiguous signal that we are receiving. Normally you'd want to see this beneath the price as we retrace back in. Okay, so where do you see that? Well, if we go to even the 4-hour time frame, the 4-hour time frame is crossed down currently, and that's why you're seeing suppression of price. Hourly time frame. The hourly time frame generally starts to poise the move in advance, which is why you were seeing this false takeoff, false takeoff, false takeoff. We're starting to fail this baseline idea on the hourly, not getting lined up in succession here. Now you'd want to see the baseline cross up with the hourly candle closing above the baseline cross up event for the upside to be genuine. So we could be seeing this failure of the baseline based on where the candle stands beneath the baselines here. Not seeing strength, seeing potential weakness on the hourly time frame. Hourly time frame also momentum starting to come down here with the Williams, not in a good state as it was back here with the Williams and the stochastic oversold. So getting these oversold is the position we want to be in for a long idea. Now you're starting to see that idea unfold on the 4-hour time frame. The 4-hour time frame stochastic is oversold. Williams coming down in a manner here. Money flow beneath the RSI suggesting you could get a push up. The money flow is extremely beneath the RSI, suggesting, just as it was in this case, when the money flow was above the RSI, it dumped furiously. So something to note, when that disparity is existing between the money flow and the RSI, you will see some reversal ideas inbound. So let's go. We already did a daily time frame descent through the time frame, so we'll look at the relevant ones within the medium time frame scope. The 12-hour, the 22 and the 12 and the 6-hour are all at their clouds. So if you were going to see a continuation bounce, this is where you would see it, off the cloud. So the golden pocket and the clouds line up quite nicely off the 12-hour and the 6-hour. We were putting out earlier today that you should mind the clouds and these reactionary bounces, you know what I mean? So if we look at those cloud bounces, that's the idea to note. Now, if you look at the 22-hour, he's also seeing the cloud line up with the golden pocket here on the retrace. So 22, 12, and 6 all lining up with the cloud and the golden pocket idea. So it's all about how these clouds, the one thing that is not noteworthy of this is the baselines being above the price here. Ideally, you'd like to see this kind of cross down and cross up of the baselines as you come up here. So we did this rise up, the cross down event held, and then you'd see the baselines cross up in a manner, and the price holds above this. This schematic is a actual price action of Bitcoin at its actual bottom before we knew it was the bottom. So this is a good schematic of what to look for in terms of price. So you'd be seeing this cloud shift, the candles come above the cloud as it starts to thin, and boom, continuation to the upside. And also the cloud holds as this retraces into the cloud. Sometimes in more bullish manners it goes sideways, but then it could also go down and bounce off the cloud that way. So there's multiple ways that occurs. So we've been going sideways for about basically 18 days now. So this is not exactly the idea you're looking for in terms of the baselines, and we've been seeing these fake out breakouts that don't really take you up, they just take you up to take you down. So this one we were talking about, if it's not V-shaped in nature and it comes down in a steady manner here, this is more the type of idea that you might be seeing some shorts induced for a genuine stab to the upside. So if we start to project an idea of bullishness out into the universe, one way to do that would be with the trend-based fib extension tool. So you do impulse retrace idea down to the lowest point, which is into that golden pocket, and the bullish idea would start to form at 29,628. So if you are so inclined to take a long trade in this region, then you would be looking at the 29,628 to confirm that idea, and the take profit regions would be up in this zone, 30,822 and 31,419 for the take profits, and possible resistance at the 706 at 30,362, which also coincides with the top of this range area. So coming up above this range will meet with resistance, and also coming up to this previous vector candle recovery, you'd be coming back down to consolidate. So what you'd want to see would be some sort of conviction move. If you were going to see a long, it would come above the 236, break above that, continue, go into this region, possibly consolidate and go higher. That would be what you would want to see. But we're entering the weekend, and it is Run for Profit Friday, and they're slightly going down with the price as they are taking profits off their longs. Bitcoin held extremely well despite seeing NASDAQ drop. NASDAQ took a little bit of a tumble earlier today. We caught that entire move, which we'll go over in a second. We caught this entire 236 entry model, boom, to the downside, and then took this bounce up too off the 6.5, and we'll go over how we see that. And it's the same idea. It meets with resistance off the 0.65 706 region and starts to consolidate along these levels. So these higher time frame narratives do actually have some relevance if you choose to pay attention to them. And then you go to the micro time frame to look for their relevance. All right, so let's go into Bitcoin once again and see if we're seeing that. Well, actually, we'll take a pause break, and we're going to go back to what we were seeing in the moment here. So we're going to replay the charts, and we're going to switch to our NASDAQ tool of the 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁𝗲𝗱. So let's do it. All right, so we have it normally at 30-second intervals here. The data does not get saved for very long. You're already losing some of the data because it's in sub 1 minute mode. So if we look at this, we can't go back. No, we can. We can go back to, yeah, back to here. All right. Yeah, all right, so where are we? All right, so here we are. Is this it? Ah, here. Okay. Wait a minute. So we're going to have to get out of this because we can't do the replay mode on the 30-second so easily. So we're going to have to use the 1 minute and then just look at what we were seeing in the moment on the saved things we put out to the group. So we were taking some trades in the London session, but basically looking at here. This was today. All right, so prior to the market opening, there was some news release of the CPI data, and we were talking about here. So let's just go back to what we said to the group. We were talking about a potential trend-based idea of a 236 entry down to these regions and possibly seeing a C wave down. We said on the precipice of a C wave down, no momentum to confirm just yet, and we saw the momentum. We got the hidden bearish divergence and the other money flow divergence hit, and it dropped to the downside. We saw ABC to the downside, a continuation wave. We talked about from this consolidation wave up. We also said that on this consolidation wave up, we said that could be making a third push down at some point, and then we saw that third push down and surge up. This surge up started to meet with some bullish divergence on our optimized time frame divergence sensitivity thing. We entered a long here as the news was about to come up. We were attempting to get a shift. We talked about this long idea, and basically for an hour and a half we had NASDAQ in the pocket of our hands, and this was a good 122 tick move that continued. If you took that continuation off the cloud, I was happy with the profit for the day, so I did not take that. But yeah, that's what you would see. If you see this on the 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁𝗲, you can get these little microscopic viewpoints of the bullish divergence playing out before it happens in real time. And this had it before the news play, and you could have had this nice move to the upside on that silver bullet time frame. Shout out to anyone that may or may not have seen that as well. So we got that little bit of tumble today on the NASDAQ as Bitcoin went sideways for the most part. It all depends on what type of leverage you use, I guess, but Bitcoin leaves you a little bit too exposed if you over leverage yourself, so I don't like to do it. I like a good steady 5x leverage with a decent amount of margin myself. All right, so getting rejection off the cloud here. We did not reclaim the cloud, even though the cloud did thin here. suggesting that you got a recovery of the 50% of value of this vector candle. How do we measure that? Well, you could do a fib retracement of this, switch it to equilibrium, and boom, we hit that equilibrium level expressing bearish continuance. Boom, we drop to the downside. So this is one thing you can do, measure the vector, see how much of the vector you recovered. We recovered half the vector, boom, continuation to the downside. And hitting that golden pocket for a reaction. This could be your initial reaction / rise to grab the 100xer here. Are we going to see this grab to those 100x pools in the next 20 minutes? 29447. 29447 would put you up here nearly to recover that entire vector. It would be over half of that vector candle. So the bullish narrative, you would have to see a bounce that reclaims this entirely and comes above the 236, as we said before. For a bullish, true bullish nature, you'd have to clear this range entirely, basically coming above here. So the beauty of seeing these golden pocket bounces is that you can have your stop loss really tight, so your risk is averted quickly. If you know this breaks the golden pocket, then you're going into a deep retrace for a potential drop to the downside, 706, 786, 886, and potentially breakdown. You get more bearish than bullish. So this is why you take these at face value for what they're worth. And if you took that 618 bounce that we said might happen, you could be up and in profit and set stops to break even and see what occurs, and you win even if you lose. So we're going to see how that reacts by the 6-hour candle close. The one thing to note, as I said before, that you're getting ambiguous signals on our indicators in terms of having these cross down events with that cloud. So that suppression of takeoff is happening because of these baselines. The baselines for true support would be beneath the price, and since they're fatiguing out easily because of all this sideways consolidation, it could just be a range bound move to the downside. So keep that in mind, because you have cross down events confirmed on the 8 and the 6 hour, and they're not to be ignored until they're beneath the price, like so. Then once you start to reclaim the baselines with the cross up, then boom, you see that move to the upside, generally speaking. Now the same thing occurs on the 12-hour, and the 12-hour candle is conflicting with the cloud, where you're getting these cross down signals suggesting that it could break the cloud down here too. I wait for that perfect alignment, so I'm kind of on the sidelines right here, but ready for whichever way the cookie crumbles. You are getting the daily time frame cloud starting to somewhat curve in a way here with the thinning, insinuating something perhaps. And once again, we're going to look back at total for as we did this morning. Total having a breakdown at the 0.65 as of this moment in time. The cross up event on the daily time frame, that was something we also saw on BTC. So this confluence of the cross up on the daily time frame could be the thing to be the saving grace against that ambiguity of the baseline cross down here. All right, let's see if anyone came in. So if we take a look here on Run for Profit Friday, we are breaking down at the cloud as of this moment. In the next 17 minutes, we'll be here to see what it says, and then we'll reassess at that time. So let's go ahead and take a look at NASDAQ as it stands right now. Let's just do what we do on NASDAQ futures these days as we approach the silver bullet for the last hour here, switching over to Optima and then also moving into the 30-second time frame. Okay, so let's move this over. So it looks like it's been pretty range bound after that surge up. They brought it back down again and they double topped it here. You're getting some bullish divergence on the money flow and the RSI that's not playing out. You got a previous one on the 1 minute that did play out here as you double bottomed, and you saw the bullish divergence play out on that 1 minute time frame. This also happened to, looks like you're now breaking down to reclaim possibly the lows here. If you look at the Optima here, you are getting the money flying away. You had a previous bullish divergence, which was basically a bull trap. It went up, the money stacked in for only one 30-second period and immediately got suppressed by the baselines here. And you're starting to see this cascade into a larger pullback, perhaps, as the money flies away and you reach the bottom of the channel here. So we're gonna just chill while we wait for Bitcoin. We're gonna just look at NASDAQ, if you don't mind. We have to shut down the NinjaTrader. We have to find a way to work around that for streaming on YouTube, because I cannot take trades on NinjaTrader because I'm running a Mac Studio M1 Ultra, and using parallels I cannot basically running parallels I can't it doubles up my audio when I try to do Windows on the Mac. It works perfectly, but when I try to stream, it records two audio outputs for whatever reason. It's using the audio from Windows and Mac, I'm assuming, because when I don't have the Windows loaded, it doesn't do that. So you're seeing the money step back in here on the 30-second with the baseline cross up. It could be a false signal here. I'm not buying it. Looks like it might be an inducement trap to go lower, because the value here on the RSI is not at that low point we normally like. So this is a dollar cost average bounce. So the people that are trapped up here are like the people that were trapped in here are buying in here to raise their liquidation points. So they're likely going to come lower. Normally when this optimized RSI that we've created gets to a region here where it's basically getting a lower low and you're getting a higher low on this, and you're seeing multiple confirmations of bullish divergence and it holding this region at 35 plus, then that's when you start to see a guaranteed bounce. Even though you had some hidden bearish that started to play out, it did still give you that higher low, and boom, we saw that go up to the upside just a few minutes ago. So that was also cascading to the 1 minute here. If you look how this 1 minute cascade occurred, even though it had the initial bounce, it created a double bottom out for a larger play to the upside. And so now we're starting to see a potential pullback, like a D wave to the downside, going into that last hour of the silver bullet. All right, So that's why we would not be interested in that cross up, because we weren't at a level with some divergence. You'd want to see some divergence that played out. This one did not. That was a trap for the bulls, and the bulls got trapped because there was no follow through on this money stack here. Did not also cascade. There was no divergence on the 1 minute, so you weren't seeing multiple divergences like you were back here in this nice level. So you had divergence on divergence, and that's where we take the Optima in its true form. Still in beta release, we have not really talked about it or advertised it that much, except within the Momentum Master group. Some people seeing gains with the daily. So you're seeing this cross down event confirm. This is also a bearish trend-based fib level that they would look to respect if they're trying to get out of the bearish narrative. Not buying it just yet. There's no bullish volume to justify. And this is what you do, just watching how you can scope up some points here, and this little amount of happiness from here to there would basically be, 200 ticks of profit, which is, we just took 122. That was a good $1,500 that you could take from that one small move. So even when it's range bound, this is backed with volume, unlike a lot of the Bitcoin price action recently. I'd love to take a Bitcoin trade, but there's low liquidity, so you become the target. I don't want to become the target. So these higher liquidity ideas with NASDAQ, you can blend in with the rest of traders across the globe. As it is sanctioned and not restricted in many countries, unfortunately, like Bitcoin is. So we're just seeing there's these attempts for bullish volume, but no follow through. The follow through is not there, so you're getting these breakdowns of price, and also the money flowing out beneath it, coming down to a region. So we want to see it just break down here and create some bullish divergence as it buys up. Currently you're getting a higher low and a lower low on the RSI here on the 30-second that is hidden bullish, and here also hidden bullish because you're making a higher low and a lower low on the RSI here. So this is kind of hidden bullish. If we can maintain a region here while this, without going beneath this region, not yet confirmed, so I'm not interested in it. So we're gonna take it and see what's going on. So you're seeing how the baselines in action work. You had this cross down event on the 30-second, which cascaded to the 30-second, and boom, you saw this cascade flow like water down a waterfall as it continued down, and this would have had you get pause for a minute, but it was a bearish retest of the cloud which shifted, and this is how you see this Momentum Master Suite in its glory as it unfolds within the framework of the 1 minute chart. And you see how this, you break out and you retest the cloud and continue higher, and this just shows that cloud thinning and continuation with the baselines beneath the price with that bullish divergence. That's what we want to see. That is something nice right there. So back that trade right there. So currently range bound, so not really interested in it. But as we enter this yellow line here in the next 7 minutes, we'll come back. Let's come back, pause that, hold that thought for a moment, and then we'll go back to BTC right now. BTC at 327, currently breaking down yet again. Let me get out of this really quick. Let's go back to BTC and take a look at BTC. All right. Coming back, no strength, no follow through with that 618 bounce. As it looks, you could get that second hit bounce off of it to stop out the people at break even who took it with over leverage like 100xers. Let's go see if they took out that. They did not take out that 100x character at 145 million just yet, so they might come back to them at some stage. The 6-hour time frame candle closes in 5 minutes. Do we close it beneath this cloud or not? This cloud also happens to be, we are above the cloud on the 12-hour. The shift is what you generally like to see for a continuation idea. Holding and maintaining that cloud with the candle above the cloud is more bullish than bearish, but a lot can happen in the next 12 hours after that. There's the 6 hours later too, so your next eyes turn to that 6 hour later. So we're looking at how this 6-hour cloud holds on this 4-minute candle close. Do we close beneath the cloud and then start to attempt to make a bearish retest of the cloud, or are we seeing this hold? We saw it hold for 18 hours or so. So now it's currently breaking down at the cloud, showing a sign of weakness slightly. And this is why we say look to the cloud for your clue. And then we look to the next cloud. So if you had entered a short up here at that green bounce idea we put out to you 2 days ago, 2 live streams ago, you could have entered a short here and seen this slow bleed out as it took its jolly good time to do so. We'll come back in just a moment. Resetting, going back to the NASDAQ, 1 minute. And this is why you have to look at the NASDAQ on the 1 minute chart, because it is so quick to move that you have to be quick to act. You cannot hesitate, and you have to have things on your side that give you that slight edge, ever so slight, and you could be that much more profitable. Okay, so saw some volume step in here with some bullish divergence. It went up for a few points, basically from 64 to 75, which is a decent 10-point gain or so. And as soon as that stepped out, you could have just put your stop into profit, but you're basically not yet putting that bullish divergence in on the 1 minute. So this could be an inducement. Not liking the range-bound nature just yet. Range-bound, just going sideways. You do see these nice surges up for the liquidity grabs though for 100 points. It is Friday, a lot of people trying to catch these home runs that just get stabbed on both sides. That's why we shut down the Ninja Trader after this move. We took this nice move here, boom, and that was good enough for me. Solid bullish divergence too, solid. Nothing solid yet, so you can't rush it. I was being rushed the other day when I was trying to show somebody in the Discord, and they went off in a huff about it. And you can't force a trade. You can't ask somebody to show you a trade when it hasn't manifested itself. It takes time to manifest. And then when we post a trade, we post it in detail for 2-3 hours. It takes 2-3 hours to develop and get in that zone. And you can take the trade every single time. So this consolidation just insinuates that it's going to go a little bit lower here because they're trapping traders. And they had already previously trapped some people up here. So they went on a run for the buy side liquidity, and then they trapped some bulls and then took it lower. So this is a ABC that now they're getting them to DCA, and they could potentially take it lower too. Not seeing clear divergence just yet. The nearest one was that this is it's a little bit too far on the look back for my liking, but you have seen a higher low and a lower low on here. That's about it. Not really seeing the volume step in here. The interest not coming in so much. You did get that slight bullish divergence, but that's just, it was not my cup of tea for my type of trade. But this is how the cross-up events have you at hello. You have this cross-up event here, and then it's scooping up the price just above it. And then if you're so inclined to pull the trigger, then you pull the trigger, and you could see this kind of go up, and you're getting these confirmation green circles here, which I had overlooked. And this is telling you that you're green for launch, momentum on your side. Just like here, momentum was on your side and you went up. So this momentum on your side that was here before, you could have taken that as well. I wasn't seeing the divergence as strong. There was this slight divergence here on the 30-second, and there was this larger divergence that we pointed out if you go back here, higher low and lower low on this optimized RSI. And that would have given you what, 93 ticks, so decent amount of points, 30 points or so. We came back into this vector candle, this fair value gap, where it looks like we're continuing higher. The money is stacking in here. As we clear the hour here, let's go back to Bitcoin, see what's up with Bitcoin. And just for clarity purposes, let's go see where's the performance that we had earlier today. Here's today's performance evaluation. We had total net profit $4,449 gross profit, 100% win rate, percentage profitable 100%. Your MAE was $33, so very good sniper entries. Number of winning trades 139. That was because I was taking a lot of linked accounts. So proof is in the pudding, eh? So you see BTC, let's go back to this on Momentum Master regular version. All right, so 12 hours. $12-hour time frame. Let's go see what the 6 hour says. So the 6 hour closed beneath the cloud, and it looks like you're coming back into the golden pocket. Reaction was not as strong as they would have hoped. You did get a little bit of a bounce off of that cloud. The 6 hour is fully reset on the stochastic RSI, as is the 4 hour. So you're starting to get time frames oversold in your favor. So you'd like to see some little hourly plays, inducement patterns where they hold this range, and then eventually you get that 4 hour play to the upside. So the 4 hour and the 6 hour resetting is a decent thing to see in alignment. at this level. Just to note, the 12-hour time frame is coming down here, but it's starting to get tighter. It could see that bounce off the cloud with the 6 and 4 in conjunction. So the 6 and 4 in conjunction with the 1, now the 1 is lined up with the 4. This is where you get on the stochastic array here on your dynamic alert system. You would be getting alerts. If it does start to bounce, you'd be seeing like 4 time frames oversold with the diamond X, and this will start to appear if you start to see that occur. And if you get this cross up event and this candle closes above this baseline, then you can see an hourly play out of here. This is the 786 level of the bearish trend base fib too. If we start to dig our way out, that's where it would be done. The cloud on the hourly is starting to shift here. So the 4-hour time frame and the hourly time frame and the 6-hour time frame and the 15 and the 5-minute are all getting to a zone here. This could be seeing some sort of reaction off of this level. You definitely have the liquidity lining up here on the 100xers. You could at least come back to the 29447 and possibly beyond to the 29753. We could go lower, of course, at any moment in time, but coming up to the 100x and maybe 50x could be some clue that we're in to come back to. So as it stands right now, coming back to 29753 or 29447. 29447 would put you up here. 29447. So coming up to this guy, taking him out, you're getting that 4 time frames. If you weren't watching the stream, you would get this alert to your phone with Momentum Master, link in the description. These 4 time frames oversold, dynamic alert system, check it out. And you would get that coming to your phone. You'd see the baselines beneath the price on the 5-minute if you were looking for that entry. And then you could take this up to there and possibly beyond. If it does react off of that and start to hold the cloud and shift up, that's where you start to see your narrative build. And it starts from that shoulder, head, and possible shoulder out of here after all the streamers induced their guys to their demise. And yeah, let's just see what we can do here. Give me 1 second, please. All right, there we go. So there's that one pool, and then the next pool would be up at that 29753. So let's see where that is. 29753. 753 would put you all the way up here. I don't know how likely it is to go up there, but that's the 50x guy. See how it reacts off that 100xer, eh? The 100x pool. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. You got 4 time frames oversold. That's what the Diamond X is for. You like these Diamond X's, these are on this level, the higher probability of the higher time frame, the medium time frames on your side with the diamonds and the X's. Circles are lower time frame. And then when we start to see all 6 of them in alignment, then boom. And so that 6-hour reset could have been some stochastic algorithmic thing that occurred, and then we could be seeing some sort of shift out here on a 6-hour time frame. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let's go see how it plays out here. Smooth as a baby's rear end. Can we break up above this, or are we going to get more downside from this point? This is where you would try to see, does that 618 hold or not? Use proper risk management and see how it plays out. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, folks. So thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day. We'll do the same, bringing the fire, the accuracy, the precision, all that fun stuff, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.